The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. Coming to you live from the North Park building at Academy Square, episode number 261 on deck this evening. We've got a busy show. We're going to be kicking things off with Ed Brewster, talking with him about Motorama, which is coming up in Harrisburg this weekend. We're going to be rolling south on Thursday to build some tracks. He's going to be busy down there with the RC Derby stuff. We're going to be touching base with him. And then we're going to talk to Teghan Wiire, going to give us the recap of WinterSlam. And then we're going to catch up with Jeremy Ertman on that. We've got a couple of the winners from down in Florida to touch on. I know you watched a little bit of that yourself, Brian. So we've got that stuff. Really the headlines from this weekend. There was a derby in Nebraska, too, a two-man team derby, and I didn't get...
Why didn't you tell me that I had to move the camera back?
What's that? You didn't have to... Well,
move the camera back.
Don't get up and moving the cameras on top of you. So, there was the team derby in Nebraska. I'm trying to find some more results on that. I was struggling to find it earlier, but then I just thought, why don't I just check with Candace? I'm sure she's got some details on that.
You would think.
You would think, yeah. You would think. But the headlines really, when you think about it, from this weekend, it reads like it's April.
Yeah.
There's three derbies this weekend.
There's definitely a lot of derbies going on. I didn't actually get a chance to watch anything from Florida. We last year we missed out on our family pizza with Mom having her heart attack and being in Florida the week before. So we got together Saturday night and celebrated my dad's 81st and my parents' 55th wedding anniversary and watched some of the new, watched a little ARCA race and watched some of the new football league. And
what did you think of the football?
Loved it, but it's football and I'm pretty jaded, so it was good. The only thing I noticed is they haven't been practicing in a long time. The passing offenses look kind of anemic, to be nice. But it was great to see a defender come off the end untouched and knock a quarterback's helmet off and not get penalized. So, I definitely think it's it's going to be good football. It'll keep us going until we get to the draft in April. So, but yeah, busy weekend. The Southern Nationals was won by a team from Florida. Mm-hmm. So that was
we were talking the other day. That was a big surprise.
Yeah, one of the names mentioned was Billy Benoit.
Yeah,
which he ended up being the winner. So our old Seneca County's own Nick DeCastro ran down there in the Wiire class, or
Ron McClung was down there.
Yep, imagine that.
Shocked.
Mad
Mike was down there.
Mad Mike was down there again. Shocked. But yeah, it sounded like it was. They
well, here, let's do this first. Steven Sickles came away with the win in the compact side.
Hard to believe.
Yeah. Also, yeah. Really. Nathan Case coming away with a win in the semi-stock class. John Sanders taking second place in that. Billy Benoit teamed with Randy Kyle to win the team format. Mark Siopa and Josh Corletto taking second place in that one. And let's see.
Josh was in the 501. Todd handed the reins over and let Josh take it for a spin.
Also, spoiler alert, Chuck Bucknam took home the $1,000 Mad Dog Award, and that comes with a free pass to enter Maymania.
Oh, really?
So that's a lucrative Mad Dog Award.
That's a pretty good toll for Chuck.
I think I want to go out on a limb and say that's the farthest that they've towed if they do go to Maymania, but I don't know if his family went to those derbies in the Saddle Dome.
Oh, yeah.
In Calgary, which if they did go, it wouldn't surprise me that they did.
That's out there, though.
Well, yeah, anything on the other side of the Rocky Mountains is out there.
Yeah,
if you got to cross a really big river and a really tall mountain, it's out there.
A couple really big rivers. But, yeah, I guess they had some track trouble down there. I know they had a company come in and do a whole bunch of site work. But you and I were talking before, and I think the only way.
Real quick to go back, it was the Cornhusker Chaos was the event with Reckless Promotions in Nebraska. That was the derby that we were looking for data on. So if anybody's listening, chime in. Go ahead.
You and I were talking before, and they used to race on the beach at Daytona, and I honestly think that would be the only way to keep the sand.
Yeah.
Because it just, you're not going to be able to keep enough moisture in it to pack it down to where it'd be smooth.
Dirt holds water, and clay holds water like a sponge would.
Yeah.
Sand
just runs through it.
Yeah, it just filters the water. And that's one of the things that I think that they're continuing to run into down there. But
just have to find someplace that's asphalt and run it. That would take away all the problems.
They were mixing. Did you see the video? Late 24 hours before the Derby, I think they were mixing a substance in. I would assume it was something along the lines of like the Portland, what we saw to tighten up the track in Topeka. That one time that the track was loose, to say the least.
Good word. Good adjective.
It was loose. It was a little loose.
It was loose, all right. But I heard a lot of positives out of there. They're already planning for 2020. So, it definitely. And now we're not back in the weather of April anymore. We're back to February, and it's pretty cold and not good. Did you not look how my camera was?
Well, it's been better.
Am I tilted or is the building tilted?
I don't. It's fine. Whatever. I had it up close because I wanted to cut off the glare on your head because when it's up close like that.
I understand. Yeah,
when you pull it away like that, it gets a little shiny.
I'm thinking about growing the hair back so it's not as shiny.
Yeah, think it through.
Probably not.
Think it through. But yeah, that was a good show out there, and again, just there was a lot going on. And the apparently Jimmy Johnson and the guys in the Advanced Auto Parts Clash were inspired by the Florida Southern Nationals.
Yeah, I heard they wrecked cars.
I think it was Blaney. Ryan Blaney's in the 21 now.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so. Or Paul Menard, maybe.
Yeah, Menard. Because Daddy bought into Woodbrother Racing.
And there was contact, and all of a sudden, and that was like first place.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson kept going. Two other cars kept going, and everybody else went sideways.
Yeah, they said it was. I didn't see any of it. I watched a little bit of the ARCA race this weekend, and that was about it. But they said that Jimmy was a little aggressive, and they said that him and Rick Hendrick were talking about it at Victory Lane because they figured Rick had probably heard from 4 or 5 or 6 car owners as to what the hell is he doing. So
winning,
winning. He hadn't done that in a while, a couple of years. He was pretty frustrated, I'm sure.
Yep.
So we're every day we're getting closer to official Derby season. Next big thing around here is March. We'll have the swap meet out at Paradise Speedway. Mm-hmm. Ellison's are putting that on. I see today Jeffy's Fab Farm is going to be there with everything from nuts and bolts to complete LS setup. So be cool to go out and check him out. Hopefully I can maybe swap a day and get out there and see if I pick up some parts from Jeffy. Oh, excuse me. Man, long day, short night. What are you working on over there, Chris?
You just reminded me I had a question for somebody.
Okay.
You're inspiring.
Thank you. I've heard that
just
before.
Wanted to hit that and get that taken care of before I forgot about it again. For me in February, it's been busy.
It is
trying
busy.
to remember everything.
February is almost over. We're literally.
It's the 11th. What are you doing? It's the 11th. It's not even halfway over.
14th is halfway. That's only 3 days away. That's half.
Well,
it's almost over.
My car payment is not secured yet, so I do not need it to be halfway over. Ed Brewster is patiently waiting on the line in the background as getting ready to head to Harrisburg for Motorama. Ed, how are you?
Doing good, Chris. Just busy getting ready for Motorama.
They've got a couple cars that they're rolling out. Again, Ed's been working with Ace Hobbies down there and has really, really stepped up the RC Derby car body game down there, getting much, much better performance out of it, and they're doing a lot of R&D work on them. And when things don't bend the right way, my understanding is the easiest thing to do to fix it is just to cheat them right from the factory. Then you have to worry about doing it at home.
Yeah, that's what I suggest. Cheating right from
a little change in the rules. Maybe nobody will notice it.
I wouldn't even worry about the rules. Just just do it, and then if somebody notices it, go, oh, well, I'm not sure how that happened, and just play dumb and move on, and hopefully people forget about it.
Think so? Think that'll work?
We are kind of excited about Motorama coming with the Butch Cisco hammer out there. There should be quite a few of those in the rink. It'll be the first national event for those. So they've been competing pretty good, but we'll see how they do against the other guys from Ohio and New York and all.
Record numbers this year in terms of entries. You've eclipsed the 50 mark, right? At this point, you're over 50 and approaching 55.
On the sheet, it's saying like 49, but I know I've got 4 or 5 walk-up entries, so yeah, we're really pushing it this year. I'd say probably 52, 54 entries.
And that's for the national? That's national class, or that's everything?
National class.
Yeah, so I mean, they've got trucks. Trucks have some sponsorship this year to make that a little bit more enticing, and you've got the mod class as well, right?
That's right, yeah. All of them are entry class this year, truck, outlaw, and national, and payouts for all 3 of those this year. And it's appearing we probably got 12 to 15 in the truck and about the same in the outlaw class.
Outlaws are insanity. I mean, they're building full frames now underneath the aluminum, and they're sitting on top of the control arm, so it's eliminating the suspension altogether.
Nice.
They're gnarly.
Now, are you running or just officiating?
I'm not going to be able to because I'm going to be tied up with the RC racing side of things, with the oval. I'm going to be down there for all the oval stuff with the mud bosses and the sprints. So I'm actually not going to be able to. I did get over there and got to watch a little bit of the milk truck derby last year. Like basically along the lines of UPS trucks.
Yes.
Those were cool.
We've got that going again this year. A lot of people really excited about that. So that's something that's going to continue there.
Are you taking a caravan of New Yorkers down to run and compete?
There's going to be a lot of people from New York coming down to compete on both sides of it. Nobody's going to be traveling with me this year. I'm going to be rolling solo.
Well, I mean, caravan isn't multiple people going down.
Yes,
not
there's
yours.
A lot of people.
Caravan,
yeah, there's
loaded person.
Because I got to leave early to get down there to get the track all put together, so I won't be having anybody traveling with me this year. But I definitely would if anybody wants to leave on Thursday and stand around and on Friday and not do anything. I don't think it's a good idea to open practice on Friday for the folks that don't have the ability to travel that day and try to keep things fair, because I'm tired of being yelled at over toy cars.
Now, what are the races and derbies being run on? Concrete, dirt, carpet?
It's packed rodeo clay. It's a loomy material. It'll hold water good and it'll pack nice and tight, but it pills up. It comes up in little, for lack of a better term, it comes up in little balls. Like when you're done with at the derby track or at the racetrack, you can sweep it off, and you've got these little. I mean, it sounds cliche, but they're marbles. These little tiny marbles that roll up, and you got to keep water on it or it will get dusty.
Really?
It'll dust up. Yep. We had we ran on.
Do you have RC water trucks?
No, we have a hose. So you brush it off and then you spray it down.
I'd be real impressed if somebody designed an RC truck and just spray with it.
It would be nice. It would be helpful. not gonna lie there. It would certainly be helpful. I think the RC derby truck or RC water truck would just be a sprinkler.
I don't think we're gonna venture into making those, Chris.
No, you're gonna keep that on the shelf. I guess I can't blame you too much. We've diversified enough as it is. The Butch Cisco. Go ahead.
Seems to be a good amount of the mud boss and sprint car entries this year too, Chris.
Yeah, we had 52 last year, so I mean, it for all intents and purposes, we're going to eclipse that.
Are the sprint cars unstable like normal sprint cars?
Yes.
Sweet.
They're scary fast too. Like,
so they're going to have right out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Yep. And when they get flipping over and stuff, they'll blow the wings apart. They'll bust the rings. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I might have to go check one of these out sometime.
The sprint cars, on a good sized track, when the sprint cars are going around the track, you'll feel the air moving out from the track because of what the wings are doing.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So when it goes in, will it plant the left front and lift the right front?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's The wing is on there for a reason, and it runs like a sprint car. The Mud Bosses, you drive it off either the right front or the right rear, depending on what you're doing. But the sprint car, you drive it, it's all right rear. You just get it to turn and lean, and you can watch them carry the left front and everything. It's just like watching a real race.
When are you going to start late models?
They're already there.
Where the left rear chucks up and...
It already happens. It already happens. It's it already exists.
Cool.
You have late models down there, right?
We got a pair of Motorama tickets to give away this evening.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we've got a couple Motorama tickets that are available, and for the first two people to message the Crash Course page, I've got the Crash Course page up right now on Facebook, and I'm looking at the inbox. The first two people to shoot me a message tonight, by the time we go off the air, they're going to get Motorama passes. So we got them to give away. If you can shoot me a message quick, if you can get a message sent in. I don't think.
Let them know too. The only issue is they got to pick them up from the Spring Hill Suites Hotel front desk Saturday morning.
Yeah, you got to pick them up on Saturday. But yeah, shoot a message, and you got a shot at getting your hands on some tickets for Motorama. Present celebrities need not apply, Brian. Just
I'm just a new body. Sounds like it's going to be a good time.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of really something cool for everybody down there.
There is. And it's not just RC stuff. They have indoor motocross. They have indoor go-karts. They have, I think they have midgets indoors. And then there's the car show, which is show and shine stuff. It's not all race cars. It's purpose built hot rods. It's all original stuff.
See, that's when you guys first started talking about this. When I was a kid, there used to be a Syracuse Motorama, and that's what it was. It was all like hot rods and all the cool.
That still exists.
Really?
Yeah, that still happens.
I didn't know that.
Periodically, you'll see an advertisement for the Rochester Motorama as well. Huh. And it's not connected to this. The Rochester one the Syracuse one that I went to years ago, I think it was at the On Center, and they had all the office buildings and stuff. All of those corridors had stuff in them too, and there was portions of it that were bought out obviously by car dealerships. But then there was some just exotic, oddball stuff that I'd never seen before, and then there was some stuff that never ended up being released. There was prototypes and stuff like that was there. It was really,
used to be
really
at
cool.
the old Center of Progress building at the State
Wasn't
Fairgrounds.
Everything at the Center of Progress building?
And then everything big starts out there, and then as it loses momentum, it just disperses and goes somewhere else. That's how it works. That's how when you know you've made it, when you've hit that place, and then when you can't fill it anymore, you know you're not it anymore. That's how it goes.
Motorama fills a 1 million square foot facility.
Is it where they have the hunting show in Harrisburg?
It's at the Farm Show Complex, the giant red brick building. It's enormous. They could have multiple different events there at the same time, and you'd never know the difference.
There's always talk going or in the works, or people want to have derbies there, but I believe it's outrageous.
Yes.
Even begin to start to rent the place, and then it just goes up from there.
Yes. Yeah, it is. But, I mean, the facility is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I only got to see a snippet of it last year. I got to see all the show cars between turn 2 of the racetrack and the bathroom. we were busy all day. Otherwise, it was packed.
They park in the right place this year, too, Chris.
What's that?
I said, don't park where you did last year.
I know. We learned.
What kind of gluten-free food do they have there?
Well, you could eat a handful of the dirt from the racetrack,
or
go hungry.
There you go.
That's option A and option B.
Cool.
I think last year I think we ate at a gas station, didn't
we? You did. You took me by Arby's.
That's right. I got to watch Ed eat Arby's while I ate a handful of track dirt.
You've got some nice meals out of gas stations on our road trips.
I've been very fortunate.
He's definitely gourmet when he rolls in one of those.
Run through a gas station. And you know what? I've been even more lucky, and not so much to worry about the gourmet side of things, but I haven't ended up with any type of dysentery eating at a gas station, which I think is Probably.
Okay, I know I've asked you. What's the name of the big chain of gas stations in Pennsylvania? Remember?
Flying J? That one?
No, not Flying J. It's another one. You were so excited to see it on one of our trips down there. It was you and I. And they had fresh fruit, and it like really fresh fruit, and a bunch of stuff, and like you literally ate well for the only one and only times that happened on. I can't remember the name of it though.
There's Travel America. There's Flying J's. Flying J, I like those. Oh, Sheets.
Sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have those up here. Yeah, Sheets is good because they have fresh fruit and stuff like that. The food that you can order at the window, it's fun to look at, but I can't eat any of that stuff.
I mean, when you get real, cardboard isn't that bad to eat, really.
No. Cardboard's not that bad if you put mustard or ketchup on it.
I was going to say a little salt.
I don't put salt on. Ben puts salt on food.
Yes.
Ben does not shy away from putting salt on food.
Yes. But.
No question. What time does everything kick off for you down there, Ed?
When am I cutting out, or when does Motorama kick off?
All of it. Go through the schedule. You got a busy week.
Yeah, well, as you know, we're up there Thursday, 12 and 1 o'clock, getting dirt moved, and Friday set up, and also people can Friday afternoon set up their pit areas.
Mm-hmm.
We did talk about practicing on the track, and we're not going to allow that.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, definitely come on Friday if you can, set your area up, and it'll be a little easier on you Saturday morning when that place packs in.
Yep.
And like you were talking about, Chris, it is a tremendous big place, and you don't want to have to tote your equipment that whole distance.
Right.
So that's the major thing there. And don't forget your cable, your cords, electricity outlets will be supplied. Okay. And also bringing Ace Hobbies with me. Have plenty of parts on hand for the slashes, and hopefully the only thing we're slacking for right now is loading up some bearings to bring up there. But anyway, continue on. Saturday morning, competitors can start coming in at 7 o'clock, and we're kicking derby stuff off around 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I don't know what your schedule is with the Mud Boss.
About the same.
And Sunday morning, you can get in there at 7:30. Anybody that's competitor at 7:30, and then the RC Derby will be kicking off around 9 o'clock that morning.
Awesome. Well, you're going to have a full weekend for sure, but it's good. What about the rest of your schedule for the summer? I know you said that you're working on something similar to your fall program in April.
Yeah, got a lot coming up, really, Chris. Of course, be up to Speedworld just, 10 days after Motorama.
Right.
And then I get back from that, and end of March, 30th and 31st, to be in Montpelier, Ohio, with the NRCTPA Truck and Tractor Pull Association there. We'll have Derby there, Monster Truck. It's a great venue there. I really encourage people to come to that one. It's just a load of fun there.
Awesome.
And, and then, let's see, April, JMW, we're planning a big one in April. And then, of course, Bash for Cash in May. So I'm thinking just June, July, August, probably sit back here at JMW and just keep that place going.
Right. Well, it sounds like everything's going strong, and Ace Hobbies is making the trip this year.
Yeah, Ace going to be on board with me. They're coming up to Auburn as well, probably going out to Montpelier. So it's a good relationship with them. We work good hand in hand. Bring it to my place and break it. You go there and get what you need to fix it.
That's a good plan.
So, yeah, definitely enjoying that collaboration. And, I just think it's going to make things a lot better this year.
Awesome.
Very cool.
That's great. If you want more information on what Ed is up to, follow him on Facebook. He's very busy on social media. There's JMW Motorsports Park you can go to. There's the Demu Derby pages that you can work off of, and then you've also got Ed's page personally. And if he's not sharing it from the other pages where you can find the links, you find those other pages and you'll find him. So it's something that's well worth checking out. And then, of course, there's regular websites under JMW Motorsports as well. Usually he comes in with a plug because I forget one, but it must be I hit all of them.
I lost you.
Nope, I got caught off guard. Usually I forget one. He's like, oh yeah, don't forget Ace Hobbies.
Practice.
Yep, I guess so. Ace Hobbies, you can find them online as well. They've got a full gamut of the new cars and stuff coming out, so that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to Motorama. It should be fun. I don't know if we'll ever get a full-size derby indoors in that place, but it sure would be a heck of a thing to do.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Oh, that would be awesome, Chris. Maybe we can talk to him about it this year.
I'll talk to him, but other people have done the same thing ahead of me, and it didn't get nearly as far as it probably needed to.
All you need is a check for $50,000.
That's it. That's all it takes. It's just money, right?
Absolutely. That's what I'm told.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Chris, I appreciate you having me on.
For
man.
sure.
And looking real forward to seeing you guys at Motorama, and everybody travel safe.
We sure will, man. We're looking forward to seeing you. I'll see you on Thursday.
All right, Chris.
Thanks a lot.
Supposed to have decent weather for travel.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be too rough this weekend.
Tomorrow's supposed to be ugly.
Yeah, I've seen that. Freezing rain and snow and
No one likes that.
yeah,
No one
that's
likes
New
any of
York.
that.
You know.
There we go. Capital City Carnage is coming up March 21st to 23rd. We heard some of the dates that were coming down the line for everybody. That is one that we've got inked on the calendar, not just penciled in, inked. It is happening. Looking forward to that one for sure. Thursday, March 21st is going to be the heat draw, 7 o'clock start time with that. We're going to be working with DerbyNation.tv again down there. Looking forward to seeing Chris Grainer and all the crew. And Friday is going to be the opening round of qualifying heat, 7 o'clock start time there. That's Friday, March the 22nd. Saturday is the twin bill, and we're going to be paying out some money that day as well. 10 o'clock start time for the limited welds, the consolations kicking off at 10, the compacts, and the first group of the two-man extreme cars at 10 a.m. 7 o'clock, it's the 10,000 to win limited weld feature, modifieds, and then that second group of the two-man extreme class. So that'll be fun to see. CapitalCityCarnage.com has all your details, agendas, drivers lists, you name it, it's on there. You can also pick up additional information in terms of ticketing on there as well. Smash It Demolition Derby's overseeing that. Looking forward to seeing all those guys down there. And we'll be stepping up.
$5,000 to win, Mad Dog.
Yeah, $10,000 to win for first place, 9,876 on down for $1,000 for 10th, and then that giant payday for the Mad Dog Award winner. So
Jonathan Mavis brought it home last year with a wagon that was wore out.
Yeah, I didn't know anything at that point.
Man, he like I told him last year, man, he did a hell of a commercial for NLR parts and Collier Motors, and he was odd man out in the heat, and he went out in the feature, and the last I'd heard he wasn't going to fix it, but came back out in the feature and he made Junkley. It was some moving. He was still making junk.
They had the same wheelbase as Illumina when he was done.
Oh, yes.
Shortened right up.
Yeah, he could have ran one of the compacts.
Hey, it's Chris. Jeremy said that Teghan's going to come on and recap WinterSlam. Perfect.
You want me to put him on now?
Sure do. Teghan's joining us on the line. And Jeremy Ertman, we're going to be talking with him shortly as well.
See, he's on a fishing hole.
Yeah. I asked about coming on, and he said that he was going to be heading to go fish, so we had to time it appropriately. But Teghan's going to be joining us. He got the chance to go out there to WinterSlam. Brett Nelson won the Old Iron class in a Ford.
Hard to believe.
You don't say, right?
Yeah.
More surprises.
Did Chris run?
I didn't notice, to be honest.
Man, that'd be the first one he missed, I think.
It would have been. I'm sure you did. It's funny you should ask that.
I didn't see anything on the page. Usually him and Jill are pretty active on their Facebook. I didn't see anything leading up to it. Now that I think about it.
Good point. I see some WinterSlam throwbacks on there.
Yeah.
It's some of those. I don't know what he was thinking with the combination that he brought. It's always he's always got a lot of fun right there, with some of the Thunderbirds with a Cadillac motor, and have we got Teghan yet?
Yep. Yeah.
Hey Teghan, how are you?
Good.
How was WinterSlam?
pretty good.
Jeremy said that you were going to come on and sort of break it down a little bit for us. What did you think?
My favorite part was the chain class.
Say that one more time.
But the favorite class that I liked was chain.
Yeah.
80 chain.
The 80s chain class is always a fun one.
Put on a good show.
They always do. This is the second WinterSlam you've been to?
Fourth.
Fourth? And, wow, where'd time go? Whew. Holy cow. How you been feeling anyway?
Pretty good.
Have you worn all your shirts yet you got for a couple years ago at Blizzard Bash?
Yeah.
You've wore them all already?
Yeah, most of them.
Wow, you must wear Demolition Derby shirts every day, buddy.
That blows my mind to think. 'Cause at that point, that means he's got to change his shirt 3 times a day in order to get through all those.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's good. How cold was it up there?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're used to it, right? You're from Minnesota?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, David's trailer.
Is there a lot of cars?
Yeah.
Nice. Who are you cheering for?
My regular brother and 17X and 74X.
Nice.
I think Cora's coaching.
Hey, I think she's helping.
How'd the?
Oh, he's so nervous, you guys.
That's okay.
There's nothing to be nervous about.
You don't have to be nervous at all. Don't have to be nervous at all. Cora, he was saying something about the 80s class, and I was having a hard time catching it.
Oh, yep, that was his favorite, was the 80s chain.
Favorite class. How'd the compacts go?
I missed them.
How about Teghan? What'd you think?
We were in a heated trailer, like, staying warm.
Atta boy. Good idea.
It's not a bad decision at all.
Nope.
Last year they started running that closed circuit TV loop into the heated beer garden, and I tell you what, even though that was an option, everybody was still standing at the track, standing room only, and the fair has worked hard to add additional seating there and make it a little bit more viewer friendly. And again, I don't doubt that this show's going to rank in the top 5 again. It always does.
Absolutely.
It's just such a unique derby. I understand the weather. The weather, Teghan, had turned a little bit going home. It started getting more snowy and a little bit rougher than what it was the day of the derby.
Yeah.
Did you see the pictures that Randy posted?
Yeah, the next day.
Just that looked awful.
Yeah, that would not have been good to derby. And well, I saw Jeremy had pictures of him cleaning the track off. Looked like they had a decent amount of snow. So they gotta
Yeah, but
clean
you
up
want
some-
that. That snow is gonna cleaning that off the day of means that you got a nice hard track to run on.
Yes,
You
definitely.
know, if you're looking at bare dirt the day before the derby, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, it could be sloppy, but no, it definitely. They looked like they had the hard track, and there was some fast-paced action.
So all your tests and everything coming back clean?
Yep, we're good.
That's awesome.
Good.
So that's good to hear. I guess we should give a little bit more of an introduction to Teghan. I sort of assumed that everybody knew Teghan is the famous Teghan from Team Teghan, and the Today We Play initiative. Teghan was brought down on the track at Blizzard Bash. Was it last year? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, got to meet Booger, hung out with Booger a little bit, and was also recognized on a bunch of the vehicles that were running at the Mandan Team show that same year. And at this point, coming through with some clean scans and all the tests and stuff to lend us to think that we're on the uptick of all this cancer nonsense that we're all so anxiously waiting to be done with, you know?
Mm-hmm. So Teghan, you
We're
get it?
going to have to go. April 27th, 2020 is his last scheduled chemo date.
Wow.
Awesome. Oh, I mean, it's
That's a ways out there.
yeah, but it's nice to have that end.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, a
So
little over a
Teghan,
year.
you're gonna have to talk to Mom again about coming back to Blizzard Bash, watching again, right?
Yeah.
Atta
We'll be
boy.
there.
Did you hear that? Yeah, we'll be there.
That's what I like to hear. Who are you gonna cheer for now if Booger's not there though?
Yeah. He was there last year, but he didn't run, though.
Just have to pick a new driver to cheer for.
Are you taking applications for your new favorite driver? People can send in their resumes, and you can decide if you're going to root for them or not.
There's so many to choose from.
That'll Blizzard badge it.
It's awesome, and we just can't appreciate everything enough that everyone's done for us. So
That's
we
well, we're happy to help. You
can't
know,
thank everyone enough.
we're very happy to help, and we'll be checking off those calendar squares closer and closer to April 2020. And it'll be here before you know it. We're already creeping up on the heart of the Derby season with.
Yeah.
At this point, we've already had, a dozen?
Yeah.
15 shows
It'll be
in
a
2019.
before you know it.
Yeah, it'll be coming around pretty quick.
Yeah, good deal.
Well, Teghan, is there anything else that you wanted to let us know or share with us about WinterSlam before we let you go?
Teghan wants to give a shout out, a happy birthday to Dad today.
Oh,
Very
happy
nice.
birthday, Dad. That's cool.
Happy birthday.
We're on our way to Pizza Ranch, so
Nice.
Well, have fun at Pizza Ranch, and we'll see you down the line somewhere.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Tegan.
You bet. We'll see you later, Teghan. Keep getting better.
Yeah.
See you later. And there goes
Tegan.
Teghan Wiire. We wanted to try and do it with everybody on the line at the same time, but we wasn't going to work out the way that we had planned. So we'll get Jeremy on the line now and touch
Before he
base
gets to
on
his fishing hole.
some more of the... What's that?
Before he gets to the fishing hole.
Watch, it'll ring busy. Or ring busy. There's no such thing as busy signal. Hey, there he is. Jeremy, how are you?
How are you?
We're all right. How's fishing going?
Slow.
Slow.
Try dropping dynamite down the hole.
We just got 2 rough fish in the last 5 minutes.
That's not bad.
At least you're not going to starve tonight.
Well, we ain't gonna eat them.
Is there catch limits this time of year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a slot. It's 17 to 28 inches. Anything in between that, we can't keep. So it either has to be kind of small or really big in order to keep it.
Yeah, I've seen Bando posting a bunch of pictures.
But if you eat it before they see it,
Well, I guess that's up to your own discrepancy, but there's no reason to go to jail over a fish.
so how was WinterSlam?
The show was absolutely fast. A lot of stuff got junked. The track was amazing. It held together until about 3/4 of the way through the Old Iron. And I don't think the track fell apart. Like I say, 3/4 of the way, and then it started getting a little greasy. And then the drivers just adjusted their driving style, and they were using it kind of to their advantage. They were hitting and then bouncing, and then as they bounce and spin, they were already in reverse, getting ready for the next shot, using the track, the sliding part of it, as an advantage. So when it came down to like Brett Nelson and the last half a dozen, I mean, they used it for their advantage, to be honest with you.
That's cool. And the only reason the track goes away like that late
All the
in the
fluids.
day is because of all the fluids. It's so cold that you can't run water. You have to run regular antifreeze in the motors, and it starts to thaw the ground out and starts to run in a little bit. So I mean, that's not a surprise, and it doesn't attract anything from the show whatsoever. Top to bottom, 140 cars were scheduled to appear. How'd inspection and everything go?
Inspection went flawless. Randy's crew, Randy and his whole crew did amazing.
We actually started on time.
Perfect. It's always good.
Yeah, that's a bonus.
I mean, we started on time. We started at 2:00.
That's awesome.
I mean, how much better could it have gone?
Yep.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. Everybody's figuring out how to build a car.
Well, and with the, we implicated the one retech rule here. I don't know what it was, 3-4 years ago, because we don't have the, we don't have the time frame. I mean, we try to stay at a 4-hour window, to keep the spectators involved, and try to get the show kicked off at 2. Well, before that, we were having so much problems with retech and people having to come through 3, 4, 5 times because they just cut a little bit here, a little bit there, and try and get it by. Well, Randy's crew has done such a good job through the years that we've stuck by the rules to a T, and I can't say enough about, Randy's officials and his tech crew that we've hired over the years. I mean, when you come to WinterSlam, it's fair. I mean, you're not going to get beat by another car.
Right.
That's good. I think that's what keeps guys coming back, is they know it's a good, fair inspection.
Well, just the mere fact that they've had almost or over 50% new drivers each of the last 2 years says that it's on the radar. Everybody's watching for it and trying to get in for it. And a lot of that's driven off of that East Chain class because there's so much interest in the class that the last 2 or 3 years it's gone to a pool or a lottery, if you will. There's no guaranteed returners. It's all based on a draw, and if you get drawn, great. If you don't get drawn,
always next year.
There's always room for you to watch from the stands, and Jeremy, the fairgrounds had added some seating and tried to make that a little bit more viewer friendly. How was that received? How did that go over?
The weather was extremely cold, and we got roughly, I would say 15 to 18 inches of fresh snow this week. So being able to keep up with the snow removal and the grounds and being such cold really affected our crowd, like the local guys. The diehards, they were all there, of course,
Right.
but our crowd was down. I'm not going to lie. And it was to be expected. I mean, the weather conditions weren't the best. The track was, and the grounds was 100%, but it was absolutely brutal cold. I mean, standing out there all day, it was, to say the least, it was damn cold.
Was this the coldest one that you've had?
The second coldest.
Second coldest?
The one in Garden City when it was negative 19 when we started that morning was the coldest.
That's cold.
Were we there for that one?
The year before you guys came.
Okay.
I was going to say, the year before we came.
I don't remember it being that cold. It was cold that one year. It was cold the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole day it was cold, but it wasn't negative 19.
No.
I remember seeing some pictures from that, and the berms had froze. It was so cold that the berms had froze tight, and cars were jettisoning over the berms. They were pushing right up on top of them because they weren't giving. They weren't breaking apart.
Yep.
Right, and that was the year, actually, when it was negative 19, during the drivers' meeting, a lot of the compact drivers, because we run them first that year,
Right.
a lot of the compact drivers did not want the track as big as it was because it had froze so hard, and we had it done like 3 days prior, all the track prep. It was just like asphalt.
Nice.
And all the compact drivers actually came to the drivers' meeting and said that, hey, we're not running on this surface because somebody's going to get killed because there's so much traction out there. And so we actually shortened up the berm and made the track smaller for the compacts that year. And that was the only year we've ever had to spray water on a track in the middle of February.
That's interesting.
They had to turn into an ice glare pretty quick, didn't it? I mean, that cold?
We just simply misted it.
Yeah.
Just to loosen it up a little bit. And then after the compacts were done that year, we took the payloaders and the skid loaders, and when you got 8-10 skid loaders and a big payloader, it doesn't take too long to move a berm,
Sure.
So we just moved the berm back for the other 3 big classes, and it was all good after that. They had a little bit of slip. They had plenty of bite. They got around. They still made junk. But the track this year, there was one little bad spot. We used an asphalt grinder to get through the ice and get down to the dirt, and Brandon Thomas lined all that up. And Brandon and Sheldon and James and myself, we made that track the best it could be. But there's a little bit of a hole on the northeast 3/4 of the way through the track. We couldn't get through that ice. We couldn't get through there. There was a hole there.
That's impressive.
And so there was a little bit of a slippery spot if you got in there, but the whole south side of the track, there was no problem getting around. Like, them cars were moving.
I'm trying to remember the last time I heard anybody describing a demolition derby track that needed to be maintained by an asphalt grinder.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Get through the permafrost.
For sure.
Well, when it's 3 feet in the ground and in the temperatures that we've had, yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
We do as much as we can to make sure that the track is in absolutely top shape. I mean, we don't want people to come around and thinking that we're on a lake and try and spin around and you get 3 scratches and a dent and blow up motors over not having track conditions be right.
Right.
And stuff not getting wrecked. And all you're doing is wearing out your drivetrain. Well,
right.
That's not what WinterSlam is about. We're here to wreck some stuff. We're here to make sure that, Terry Evans trophies get deserved.
Absolutely.
So we do the best we can to make the track, absolutely 100% of what we can do in the conditions that we have. So it's one element every year that we have to deal with, and it always seems to pull through. And the track has never really been that horrible where you can't get around.
Nope.
There was one year that it was unseasonably warm, and some of the guys didn't bring the right tire combinations. I remember some mud packing up in the radiators, and it was causing some overheating issues, as Jeremy described. But I also remember the year that we went that it was super cold. This was back at the Blue Earth County Fairgrounds, way back when. And I think it was one of the Kansan backs got a hold of a little blue Lumina and shot it over the wall so far that it almost made it to the beer tent.
Mm-hmm.
It almost did go through the fence and into the beer tent.
Yep.
It did get through the fence? It did? Or I didn't realize it got...
No, it almost made it to the fence, and I had the beer tent right up to the fence because I didn't want people walking in front of the clear side so that people could still stand in the beer tent and be able to watch.
Yep. Sure.
Kind of the whole part of being able to warm up while the event's going, so that people can still see. So I had the beer tent all the way up to the fence that year, and it was within inches of going through that fence.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Have you got the other winners there?
What's that?
Have you got the other class winners handy?
The list?
I do not have anything handy.
Okay.
We got up here late last night. Everything will be posted on our Facebook page here in the next day or so.
Perfect.
I talked to Randy this afternoon, and he was going to get some stuff uploaded. So just everybody can pay attention to our Facebook page, WinterSlam, and we'll have all the results posted here in the next couple days.
I guess the biggest question out of all this, and next week when we get our hands on that stuff, we'll go over all the winners as well, just to make sure that we do our due justice to the folks that put in the winning efforts. Lost my train of thought. The big question out of the weekend is, how did Star Group Napa feel about the turnout and the Derby and the track and all of that?
I really haven't talked to Steve I talked to Steve the day of. The vending sales part of it and the swap meet was huge this year. Like, there was a lot of products moved. Like,
Awesome.
Jonathan Muse moved a lot of stuff. Elliott Motorsports, all them guys. They moved a lot of product this weekend, and I know they did well.
Excellent.
As far as where everybody's, I mean, like the vending and the swap, it was full all day. I mean, all day. So that's where I'm saying we lost a lot of the local people that, because the temperatures were horrible, you know, so the normal Joe Schmo that wanted to come out and spend $20 to come and watch a good show, they stayed home because it was cold out. But all the guys that are serious about the sport, they were there. And the vendors, they did well. I know they did. Because I've seen people in that building all day long.
Good deal.
And I want to thank all them guys for coming because, you know, I mean, that's what makes the sport so innovative. And their technology now and their thinking and making things so much better with all the products that they make, it's unreal. Like, you know how far the sport's grown, you know?
It really has. I mean, we've talked about it just as recently as last week about the direction of the technology and, you know, sports dying, yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, those guys that are making purpose-built stuff, if they're moving that much product, that means that we've got another crop, another generation, whatever way you want to look at it, of drivers that are ready to move up through the ranks, be it whatever division that they're looking at. They're still using those aftermarket products. There's reason for them to need them, you know, because the rules are allowing them to be there, and the stuff's working. It's making life easier. It's making cars easier to build, and the purpose-built stuff is holding up better than the welded on shifting rods. You know what I mean? And things like that.
Yep.
That's
Yep, absolutely. And the drivers, you know, being on an equal playing field as far as tech going, you know, if you've got all that top-notch equipment that's legal to run, and it don't matter if it's Napa Auto Parts WinterSlam or it's Blizzard Bash, Capital City Carnage, you know, it don't matter where you are in the United States, as long as it's a level playing field, all that stuff plays into factor. That's one more hit. That's one more thing that you don't have to worry about, that, you know, that's not going to take you out of the Derby anymore. So that's why it's so crucial to have the top-notch stuff. I mean, I can't express that enough to anybody. If you're going to build a Derby car, you can't just, and be competitive, you can't just do this in 3 days anymore.
Yep.
I mean, the sport is growing so much, I don't even know how to explain it anymore. Like, the competition level is unreal. Everybody is on the same playing field.
Yep.
I think the word
If you have the same,
the word that comes to
if you have
mind
the
is
same,
go ahead.
go ahead.
The word that comes to mind is parity. You know,
Exactly.
the NFL wants parity, wants all their teams to have the same odds and likelihood to get to the Super Bowl. NASCAR has been striving for parity for so long, and you know, Major League Baseball, all the major sports at this point with their salary cap rules and limits of what you can spend and things along those lines. That the goal of that is to keep things equal, so that you can't just shell out the most amount of money and have all the best players and put together a dynasty. It still happens. You know, all of you Patriots fans know what I'm talking about. None of you Giants fans care about it. So that being said, we still have the haves and the have-nots. We still have the people that are at the top of the game that are almost impossible to knock off. But it's at least getting to a point now where those afterthought guys that had no chance 3-4 years ago are creeping up the ladders. We're seeing more and more new names. We're seeing names that we've always said are due for success, that are knocking on the door, starting to find those wins, starting to find those top 3s and those top 5s to where they're getting money that's going to help them advance their program. And once you get a little bit of momentum, you get a couple really good finishes, you finish the money a couple times, it's not hard to make those extra incremental jumps to move to that next upper level. Echelon, that next level, that top tier that we've seen so many people at for so long, but it's getting much deeper up there, even at the top.
Yeah, it's getting harder to stay there.
Yes,
it really is.
Except for Don Santel.
Yeah, except Don Santel. Bobby Whitaker.
Don Santel has no problem. He's just looking around saying, welcome.
Aaron Whitaker just hold signs when you get there. Welcome. No, it's
no. You couldn't have said it better. Like, the quality of the cars and the builds that these guys put in. I mean, with the rear ends, the drive shafts, the transmissions, the motors, the distributor protectors, and I mean, all the stuff that factors in that used to take us out of a derby in 5 minutes, and we've made small changes along the way. That's that second extra hit that you needed to win that show.
Yep, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff, the innovation, and that's why people, like Muse and Elliott and all them guys, they're moving so much product because you need it at this point.
Yep, without a doubt.
That's one of the things we talked about with Florida is they're allowing you to have the cradles and things along those lines, or you can have the kickers.
Yep.
And you can still run the lower half, but if you have the full gamut, you can't have the kickers. Yeah. And some of the Florida guys were saying that we can do more with the kickers than without. And when we were talking with Nick, the challenge then is you got stuff sliding around in there. Are you going to break blocks? But we saw the locals win. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is a huge.
They had.
I'm pretty sure that Billy had bought in full force on everything.
Did he?
But still, you know that being the case, he knew how to put the car together, and it's pretty clear that Florida isn't at all behind the times. Mm-hmm. At least those two guys.
Right, and I was looking at some of the videos and some of the pictures from over the weekend, and I seen some of the car builds, and I mean, it's no different, being that far away of the innovation that goes into the cars here versus there. Yep. There's a little bit of difference in the builds I see and the way that they're putting their stuff together versus the North. But I think somewhere along the lines, it needs to get unified as like a straight across the board rule set for what class. And I know it's so hard to get that union because there's so many of us promoters in the world that have different opinions on stuff. Mm-hmm. And the way things that should be built, one guy's not going to like that, and the next guy's going to love that. So I don't ever think between the Demolition Derby community, and we're all a big family, I don't think that we're ever going to find that defined unity that we need.
No, because we should go to unified rules, and we should use my rules because my rules are the best. Yeah. and at that point, it all falls apart, right? Yeah, it takes about 4 sentences to ruin all those plans. We need to have one coast to coast, border to border. Well, no, promoter.
Smash car.
One, no, I believe it's called Smash It. Yeah, I believe that's the closest that we've got right now.
Yep.
I think in terms of having the largest footprint. Derby Icons was very close to that. Dent was very close to that. But
Dent had a hell of a thing going on then. I don't know what happened.
People turned on it.
Well, no, it wasn't. I don't think people turned on it as much as like he started, instead of just having demolition derbies, like he had like 6 or 8 events at an event. Like it was a figure 8 and it was a towing this and a doing that, and like the last shows he ran weren't just straight true demolition derbies. They were like
entertainment packages?
No, obviously not, because they weren't entertaining. But I don't know. Yeah, Smash has got some pretty good stuff going right now. Hopefully we can.
But I think if you're going to see that, you're going to need one promoter to take over a large portion of the country, and I don't think the drivers would embrace that, because they're going to feel as though it's a hostile takeover, and they're going to buck that, which is going to give rise and momentum to the smaller promoters on a regional level, and it's going to give them life. And
agree.
They're going to be able to keep going. So we'll be right back in that spot at the same time. And honestly, I mean, you run a show, Jeremy, with Randy, and you guys have a really good rule set. For the population that you draw from the build pool that you draw from the region that you draw from, and the states that are supporting WinterSlam and some of the other county shows that you guys work on, you wouldn't even consider taking a Smash It rule book and applying it to WinterSlam, because that build style doesn't fit what you guys are doing. And 80s chain class, that kind of stuff, there's still so many variations just in the definition of what a chain class car can have. I don't know if you guys would go to the extent of adopting what they use for their 80s wire class at Bash for Cash and applying that to what you guys are doing at WinterSlam, because it won't work. Your drivers aren't going to embrace that. It's like what you said. It's that regionality thing where it's nice on paper to have those uniform rules, but just looking at the conversation we've gotten right now with WinterSlam and a gigantic promoter like what Smash It has, even that doesn't translate.
I 2,000% agree with you.
Brian's nodding his head, which means
I agree. I mean, that's we've talked about it before. I mean, it's just so hard to have a unified set of rules that would be approved from Maine to Washington State. I mean,
you think Steve Blankenship is going to be on board running the same rules as Chad Dyer and
Blankenship's running late models now. Asphalt late models.
Steve's the guy that rolled the car over and landed on the wheels.
Yeah, he's running asphalt late models. But no, I know what you're saying. I mean, like you said, I mean, Smash has real good stuff going right now with, having the Bash, obviously in Ohio, and then having their shows in Topeka. And but I mean, unfortunately, I don't feel, my humble opinion, you couldn't have a unified set of rules, because you're not going to get officials at every show where that unified set of rules will be run.
Rules the same.
Right, you're never going to interpret the same way.
It's going to be so big, you're going to have that local influence anyway, where they start allowing the little things, and when you have the big get-togethers, there's going to be gray areas in the fights.
Absolutely agree. And Randy and Joey and we've talked about this, and even between me and Randy being promoters of our own shows, and Randy being, having more shows than I do, like how he interprets it and how I interpret it, sometimes it conflicts just between our partnership. So, and just being in, and we're in the same region, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like Candace, she has a complete different aspect of what a chain car is, what a full-size weld car is compared to our rules.
Yep.
I mean,
and she's got a great following.
I love Candace. I mean, she's local, and I love Candace to death. She's a great promoter. She's going to do very well in this whole sport. I mean, what she's done already is amazing.
I think she's going to keep doing well in the sport. She's done pretty good so far.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, between the local bigger show promoters up here in north central United States that have a bigger show, we all know each other. We're all cool with each other. We don't conflict with each other, but our stick on what cars are what and what build is what, we all take it differently.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing.
And that's why it will never get unified.
Right. You were saying?
No, I was just agreeing. I mean, it's just it's a great idea, But I also think that, you know, if you did, in my humble opinion, again, if you did try to take, you know, and put something uniform, you would take away the essence of an Ohio build. You would take away the essence of, you know, the guys coming from North and South Dakota. You'd take away the essence of the Kansas guys that build, and you would take away from, you know, from the guys out of Wisconsin that, you know, that build. And
I think if you had universal rules, you're still going to have pockets of people that find ways to do things that are unique to that area too. I mean, look at what we've got in terms of Blizzard Bash, and all these cars that come from all over the place, and they all come to the same rule book. Not suggesting anybody's cheating or doing anything like that, but just the interpretation and the application of what they can do from North Dakota versus Kansas versus you know, due east of Topeka, and you know, like the pockets of Missouri and Kentucky and stuff like that. It's just a different build. It still works, but it's just a different build.
And you know just as well as the rest of the drivers in the United States and across the world, everybody pushes the rules above and beyond.
absolutely.
And everybody knows if you're not cutting, you didn't build good enough. So, with that being said, the guys that don't have to cut are sitting in the pits thinking, well, I didn't build my car good enough because I got through right away.
Right. Yeah, you never want to get through the first pass, right?
What has everybody else done that I didn't do to my car? So now, you know, me being a driver for 17 years and now retired, I thought the same thing all the way through. If I got through tech the first time, my car wasn't built good enough.
Jeremy told me one time that he's won more derbies being retired than Matt ever has as a driver. Do you know that?
Got to stir up the family drama,
huh? Well, that's just because I like to start a little BS between me and my brother.
Are you sending him measurements of fish that you haven't actually caught just to remind him how much better you are at fishing?
No, but you know what I did? A bunch of guys brought some fish into the harbor, and we were up there a couple hours ago, and I took a picture of after they were filleted, and I took a picture of that, and so that nobody thinks that we're not catching fish up here, but they're not really our fish.
Nice. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Gotta fake it to make it once in a while, right?
Absolutely.
I understand.
Absolutely.
We gotta start keeping an eye on the clock because I got some more stuff that's coming in here after we wrap up. Jeremy, I don't mean to chase you off. Is there anybody else that you wanted to make mention of, or anything you wanted to hit on? I know we initially set out to talk about WinterSlam, but we got into a neat conversation comparing and contrasting the likelihood of some unified rules and what the build parameters are like, and got a little bit of how a promoter thinks. Is there anybody else that you wanted to make mention of?
I would like to thank all of our sponsors for helping us out. Napa Auto Parts, absolutely been with us for going on 7 years now.
Yep, it's a good relationship.
Napa Auto Parts has been a big part of Napa Auto Parts WinterSlam, obviously. Thank you guys for all the promotional stuff that you guys have done over the years. All the help that was there this weekend, we couldn't do it without them. There's too many people to mention. Brandon Thomas, you guys all know Brandon. What an amazing dude he is. He has done so much for us. Moving to St. Peter and getting out of our elements where we got our resources, he has kicked in so much. The Nicollet County Ag Society for letting us use the grounds. There's too much to mention. I know I'm missing a bunch of people, and I couldn't do this without two great partners, Randy and Joy. I seriously couldn't be more prouder than having them two with us.
And you've been healthy all this year? No more problems with the pancreas?
No more pancreas problems. No more colon problems. Been out of the hospital, and that's why I'm fishing this year.
There you go.
Good. That's good. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad the show went well. Congratulations on an awesome show. And I know this always happens. After we hang up, he texts me and says, I forgot to thank so-and-so. We got to thank the drivers, and we got to thank the fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got you covered there.
Absolutely.
Jeremy, always good to talk with you. Be safe on the water, and hope you catch lots.
Appreciate it, guys. Nice talking to you guys tonight.
For sure, man. Take care.
Later.
There goes Jeremy Ertman. And we are just about ready to push off for the evening. See that little boat reference?
Push off.
Yeah.
Safe on the water.
Cast off. He's on a lake that's frozen probably 40
I was going to say 40 inches thick. He's all good.
He's not going to have anything to worry about.
Plus it's negative
they had a
73.
Guy, actually, for some unfortunate news, they had a fisherman on Skinny Atlas Lake. He fell through and couldn't find the hole. It took 2 days to find the poor guy. It was rough.
It's not good.
No. Nope. Had the wind blowing up out of the south, and it thinned out the ice. Got a little too slushy. It's not good.
I used to ice fish with my father-in-law, and it was awesome. I had so much fun doing it, but the ice was really thick, and he knew what he was doing, and he passed away, and I'll probably never do it again. But it was fun.
I would not like going by like Hugo Lake, and you look way out. There's these little dots and stuff like that.
That's what we used to do. It used to be a ball. There's nothing more fun than running from hole to hole chasing tip-ups. Is a swarm of fish swim through. It was fun.
I'll tell you what. I don't like water in a boat, and I definitely don't like water when you're driving on it in a car. You will not catch me out there on that ice.
Oh, no, we weren't in cars. We were on our feet.
You walked out?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen some of these ice palaces, the ice castles that they take out?
Bandle's got one of those campers. You go out and sit right on the ice.
Dustin Anderson has one, too. It's beautiful inside. I mean, it's nicer than my house.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yep.
For sure. What do you think?
I think we're done. Counting down the days, man. We're going fast. Now it's slowing down. I wanted to get the Cap City Carnage.
I know, right? It's coming. It is coming. There's so much to talk about week to week in terms of the derbies and stuff. We'll follow up on the rest of the WinterSlam next week. Programming note: February the 25th. I don't think that we're going to be on Monday night. We're going to shift it to Tuesday. We got some meetings to attend to on that Monday, so coming up just to be so everybody's aware and ready if Monday comes and things aren't aligning the way that we expected. But I think that's going to do it. Big thanks to Teghan. I know he was nervous. Jeremy put him up to it. Hope they have fun at the Pizza Ranch. I know he's got a lot of appointments left, but all of his tests are looking good, which is great to hear.
Absolutely.
Team Teghan. And big thanks to Jeremy Ertman for taking some time away from fishing. And then Ed Brewster, of course. Look forward to seeing him coming up here this weekend. That is going to do it for us here at the North Park Building at Academy Square. We appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll see you again right back here next week. The Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Basher Cast, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.